test drive day for the new ezone from Yonex. So I am with Yonex now, and I'm really, really happy about that because those rackets are really sweet. Now, of course, I'm going to be a little biased. Otherwise, I wouldn't play with Yonex because I really like the rackets. But I still have to figure out whether I'm going to play with the 100, the ezone 100, or with the 98. I'm Meike Babel, former top 30 WTA pro, 19 times Grand Slam competitor. And yeah, this is something that I used to hate when I was on tour because it always felt like a life and death situation. Nowadays, a little different. But let me know in the comments if you want me to do a couple more product reviews, and also what kind of racket head size you're using and why you're using it. I want to hear from you. So I'm teaching only. I'm not competing anymore. So my natural drive would be to go for a little bigger racket face. So the 100 would be my first idea. That's what I've done with the last two rackets because I need some stability. I need to be able to have that racket in my hand for 7-8 hours a day and not have my arm fall off. So I'm going to start hitting with the 100. Now, what the difference is between those two, and I'm going to post the specs right here next to me and down in the description, is the 100, obviously 100 inches square face. The weight is 300 grams, 10.6 ounces. I still go in centimeters and in grams. And the balance point is 320 millimeters. The 98 obviously is 98 square inches. The weight is 305 grams and the balance point is 315 millimeters. Now, all these things matter for me because, again, I'm teaching, I'm not competing anymore. When I played on tour, I played with a way heavier racket. Now, when I'm teaching, I needed to save my arm. So that is what I'm going for. That's what I'm trying to test out today. What is the racket that gives me comfort when I'm playing, but still lets me control the ball? Because when I'm teaching, 98% of my attention is on my client. So I need a racket that's also pretty forgiving. So let's see how this goes. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the ball machine, same speed, same pace, same height, everything, so that I can compare both with the same shots. So here we go. 100 first. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to have it going straight through the middle, and I'm just going to alternate forehands and backhands. So I have to move a little bit, and right from the get-go, this racket feels super solid. So again, this is the 100. Yep, hit that off frame a little bit, but didn't feel a whole lot of vibration there. Yep, swing pace is pretty good. I'm just really letting my arm roll. I mean, I'm not going to hit hard because that's not what I'm going to do in lessons. So I'm just test driving that to be able to use it in lessons. So I'm just going to go only forehands because I'm sneaking around mostly when I'm hitting. Oh, this is super solid. Now, what's a little new for me is the shaft has a slightly different shape. So it's tapered and it's not square. So it's a little rounder, so that feels a little different first when I'm swinging and when I'm holding it on the throat of the racket. So that's just a thing that I have to get used to. So you hit that a little off, but it still feels really good, really solid. And I don't know if you can hear that from the sound, but this is a really good solid pop. I'm also going to volley with both of them in a little bit because that's what I'm doing a lot in lessons as well. But yeah, this is a great racket so far. Let's see what it does with this slice. Feels really maneuverable, so I'm not feeling that I have a lot of effort to go into when I'm moving the racket. So that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, this is a great racket. So that's going to be difficult to top. Okay, so the 100 was really sweet. So what I felt there was that it's really solid, it's really forgiving on the ground strokes, and again, that's what I need because my attention is over on my partner or my client, I would say, my student. Now I'm going with a 98 now, The first thing that I'm noticing, just picking it up, it feels a little lighter. So I like that. Again, because I need to be on court 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day. If I have a racket that's 330 grams, my arm is going to fall off. So I don't need that. Just swinging it feels a little faster because it has a little less resistance. And what I mentioned earlier here, the throat is a little tapered. So that is something that I need to get used to. That's a little different from the other rackets that I've had. But let's see how I'm hitting with it. All right, so I'm doing the same thing, just using forehands and backhands, just moving around here, same feed. Oh, that swing's nice. Okay, so that's the biggest difference I'm feeling right off. This is just way more maneuverable. And usually what I've found in the players' rackets, well, maybe I should focus on swinging, the rackets that are advertised towards more advanced players are usually a little heavier. And of course, Yonex has those options. There's the 98 Tour. Oh, hit that off the frame, but that was still very forgiving there. It swings nicely. So I'm not hitting any different than what I did before. I'm not hitting harder. I'm just swinging with the same effort. And this goes nice and light, yet still pretty solid. It's like when you shut the door on a Mercedes. It's like, bam, it's solid. Okay, what I'm also noticing is that even though I'm not hitting any harder, it swings a little faster. I know that sounds weird. The racket itself, of course, doesn't do anything. But that way, I'm getting more topspin on the ball, and I'm getting more control that way. So it feels like I can actually keep the ball in play a little bit better. Whereas with the 100, it almost feels like I have to pay attention a little bit more, which usually I have to do with the 98s, because obviously you have a smaller sweet spot and you have a little less control. By the way, both rackets have a string pattern 1619. I'm using the Poly from Yonex that pretty much everybody is playing with, all the top players. And this is a really solid racket. Whew, this is going to be difficult. Super important, of course, for me is also how the racket reacts when I'm volleying. I'm still volleying a lot in my lessons. And again, usually I will go with the 100, little bit of a bigger racket head face, just to give me a little bit more forgiveness. Again, because I'm looking at you, at my client, and I'm not so focused really on what I'm doing other than when I'm demonstrating. So same feeds. We'll see how the 100 is handling volleys. Okay, it feels I can maneuver it, so I like that, because every now and then you're really making up stuff when you're teaching and you don't have the time or the inclination really to have perfect technique. So I need the racket to help me a little bit and be forgiving. I feel there's nothing really vibrating or anything. I deliberately did not put any vibration stopper in just to feel it a little truer, and I like this. So I feel I can really be extremely accurate with this racket and have a pretty good pop of my volleys. All right, let's go to the 98 and hopefully not get decapitated. Again, I'm feeling that's a little lighter, so I like that. And it does feel like I can make up more stuff. So if I'm just backing up a little bit, every now and then, I have clients that can't play the ball as accurately. So I have to make up stuff. And I have to play balls in not the ideal position. And that is when I need my racket to help. And the 98 is smooth. I like this. It works a little faster. I feel I can penetrate through the ball a little quicker. The balance of the racket really feels good. It's not too head heavy. And I feel that's always a little subjective. I think I've made up my mind. and it actually surprises me a little bit. So as I said before, usually I tend to immediately go to the 100 because they tend to be a little lighter, and of course they have a little bit more racket face, so they tend to be a little easier, you know, finding a better contact point, and that's what I usually need when I teach. My eyes are on my client, and I don't need to focus, or I don't want to focus really on making exact contact with every single ball, yet I don't want the ball to kind of push the racket around. So that's why I always started with the 100. But I like the 98 better. The weight of it, the weight distribution feels really, really solid. And what I do like is that it really swings with less resistance. Duh, 98 square inches racket head, but it is still super, super solid. So even when I'm hitting the ball not quite in the spot where I want it to hit, it's still feeling really, really good, and it comes off the racket with good pop and good crisp. I'm gonna go with the 98.